guys, hope you all enjoyed the Oaks and the Derby, of course, last weekend. This weekend, the Weekend Watch are going to be focusing on Chester, York and Sandown. We had a couple of winning naps last week for myself and Daryl. They were at a little bit different prices. Mine went off very short in the end. Rodrigo Diaz, really well backed, went off 5-4. Daryl, though, really good, stuck with Oh This Is Us, who literally won by a tongue. So if you've not seen that, go on social media and have a look at the winning photo. It's a super one. Of course, he goes along with his tongue out, and I think that was what clinched it for Daryl. It was a big price as well, I think 18-1 in the end. So well done for sticking with it, Daryl, and well done to you if you followed him in as well. Thanks to SPK for sponsoring the video as always. Andrew Mount and Daryl Carter are with me. They're going to be dissecting the cards for you to try and find you some winners. Our starting point for this weekend then is going to be Chester. First race, and it is that fast and furious 5 furlongs. It's a class 3 handicap, a small field. Obviously, the draw is always very crucial at Chester. Will be helped by a small field, of course. You're less worried if you're not drawn out in the car park. Andrew, do you want to start us with that first race at Chester?
Yeah, sure thing. Only 5 runners, but pretty tricky. Rebel at Dawn was one that I tipped up in this video when he was 4th at 40-1 at Newmarket a couple of runs ago. Dropped back to 5 furlongs. He won at Nottingham last time out. He'll go well again. Virginia Plain, I wasn't keen on. I thought this one was massively flattered by that Lingfield all-weather win when I think every single winner on the day, apart from the dead heat of 4 a day, won from the front. And the 4 a day duly reversed the form with Virginia Plain at Goodwood next time, so she's probably sort of unfavourably handicapped at the moment. Virginia Plain. Have a go Mecca has got trap 1 but can be slowly away and might need softer going, so maybe he could be vulnerable despite the draw. Eye of Heaven's been really expensive to follow since that debut win and just doesn't look the full ticket. So I was looking at Rebel at Dawn, and I don't mind the Tim Easterby horse Lost My Sock despite the stall 5 of 5 draw. He's got the tongue tie on for the first time, which is a positive for this yard, and I thought the headgear could help. So I'd go Rebel at Dawn and Lost My Sock against the field here.
Yeah, the Tim Easterby team, they're still going well, aren't they? Been in good form for a good while now. Lost My Sock as well, got the tongue tie on for the first time, which weirdly named a tongue tie is usually made out of tights, which is basically a sock anyway. Daryl?
Yeah, I thought very tricky little race. I actually thought Rebel at Dawn would have been much shorter than he is. I've just had the odds flash up before me now. What have you got for Rebel at Dawn?
7-2.
7-2. I've got 9-4 here, but I thought he was going to be even money. To be honest with you,
have a go Mecca 4-1. If you compare the prices of the others, there's not much between the top 4, is there?
Yeah, so I thought Rebel. So now the prices have popped up. It's changed my opinion a little bit. Do you know what? I was half tempted to give a mention to Eye of Heaven, but you need to be very, very forgiving for this horse. Reappearance run at Bath the other day was just. got an RPR of 1. It was that bad. He was beaten far too far out to say he needed the run, but we haven't obviously seen the best of this horse yet, and he's been dropped £9 in 2 runs. So it's interesting that they've been dropped a further £3 and turned him out within 8 days. So I just thought that might have been interesting. I thought the track would definitely suit Eye of Heaven. He's quite a keen, free-going sort. And I thought Franny Norton would probably want to get on the front end. I actually thought there was going to be quite a little bit of pace in here. I thought Virginia Plain would want to go forward. I thought Eye of Heaven might want to go forward. I thought Lost My Sock could be prominent. As Andrew mentioned, Have a Go Mecca could be slowly away, so we'll probably be forced to be held up from that draw. And I just thought this race probably was set up for Rebel at Dawn to go in again. The type of horse that will rack up a little bit of a sequence. And I think this is a good bit of placing by Carl Burke. I'm not 100% convinced that the track is definitely going to suit Rebel at Dawn. He's quite a big burly type. Not entirely straightforward either. But I just think with the amount of pace that I think is going to be on in this race, I think it could just set up for Rebel at Dawn for a strong late finish. So, the price is attractive now. So Rebel at Dawn for me.
Yeah, so both liking Rebel at Dawn. Richard Kingscote as well around Chester is definitely no negative if you agree with the guys. We're going to do the 320 at Chester next. That's a good looking handicap over a little bit further, 1.5 miles. Another smallish field. So again, stall shouldn't be too much of a worry. And of course, plenty of time to get organised with a 1.5 miles. So 320. Daryl, do you want to start?
Yeah, this is again another little tricky race at Chester. Classic Lord was really impressive last time we get off the mark, beating Mystical Dawn over at Haydock in heavy ground. My fear with that horse is that he is a real slogger, a real stayer, and quicker ground around Chester. He was beaten here the time before by Lovers Golden, who reopposes. Now, that was his reappearance run. He may well have needed that. But I do think that a big galloping track like Haydock, Pontefract, those sort of tracks where he's won at previously are the ones that really suit him. It was a good step forward from his reappearance run. So he's definitely got more to come. And a mark of 84 does, leave him looking quite attractive off that sort of mark. I'm just not entirely convinced again that this track is going to suit. Chester's such a funny place to have horses. I thought Glen. Go on, Carol.
If you've not got time to kind of keep rowing away slowly as such.
Yeah, exactly. You come around that home bend and there's not much of a straight there for you to get going. And I think he's a horse that takes a minute to pick up and build up. I thought Glen again was going to be interesting. Again, another Johnson horse turned out quite quickly. His Edinburgh Cup form ties in with Classic Lord. I thought they should have probably been closer together in the market than they are. He's improving. This will only be his second turf start, on good ground as well. I think he's entitled to come forward again. He bumped into Dushan at Musselburgh last time, and I think Dushan's going to be quite a useful horse, and that was quite a big jump in his RPRs for Glen again. So I'd be half tempted to give him a chance, although it's not going to be a betting race for me, I wouldn't suspect.
Yeah, well, you'd be pleased to know I saw Glen again on his first couple of starts because they were at Newcastle, weren't they? And we know how much I love a Newcastle in the winter when it's -5. Lovely, big horse. He was the kind of horse you weren't surprised that he kind of ran well and you like the look of him, but he was a big horse.
He's quite athletic as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's nice, really, really nice. So I really wasn't surprised that he kind of got to a winning thread quite quickly, but I like Glen again to look at. You'll notice I'm staying quiet for these two races because I thought they were so hard. I really didn't find anything that I really liked as regards the selection. Andrew?
Yeah, really tricky, not helped by Mark Johnson running 3 of the race.
Which one will make the running?
Well, that's it. Military two-step did last time and it's got Store 1, but he was still beaten at odds on that day, and I thought it was perhaps on sufferance. And when he won on his debut, he took a lead. So I just think, even though he's drawn in Store 5, Love is Golden will probably make it under Franny, having won over course and distance from the front previously. But I like Glen again as well. Oman's a possibility. First time blinkers is a positive stat for Rafe Beckett runners, so that one could go well. The Classic Lord, it's interesting that Andrew Balding's running him here. He's won 3 from 4 outside of his seasonal debuts, and the Yard's 2 previous runners in this race have finished first and second. But I really like that Dushan form. Dushan was a fantastic winner at Musselburgh last week. He raced 3 wide round the bend. Musselburgh was favouring front runners even more so than usual, and he's massively ahead of his mark of 84. So to finish second to that one, I think was a fair effort from Glen again. He's 2 from 3 away from Newcastle, where his prominent style is generally not suited to the track, which often sees horses win from off the back. So I thought at the prices, I'd just chance Glen again. But as you both say, it's a super tricky one, this, and getting through the place part would probably be a feat.
Yeah, well, just put Glen again, and we've all more or less said we like him, so that's that. But yeah, that one at the moment I've got. Just check before what's that? 11-2, I think I found for Glen again. So,
are there any stats, Andrew? Sorry, Leonna. Are there any stats on Mark Johnston runners when he's got like 3 in a race and he pulls in an outside jockey like Richard Kingscote?
Yeah, but not that I can pull up in the next few minutes. So that's my homework for next week.
Next time,
lovely.
Yes, exactly. Well, Daryl, have you got anything else at Chester that you want to highlight, other races?
No, I'm not a massive fan of the track, to be honest with you, Leonna. It's hard work.
Neither are the jockeys. Andrew?
I like Brian the Snail in the 210. He's dropping back down to class 4 level. He's had 5 runs in this grade or lower, 4 wins and a half-length third at Ripon, when the winner and second just never came back to the pack and he couldn't quite get the blow. So he's nicely drawn. He'll get a good toe into the race. He'll obviously need luck in running. He hasn't won here, but he's run well in defeat, and he's got plenty of left-handed form, winning at Pontefract and Catterick, running well in defeat, and some good races at Lingfield on the all-weather. So yeah, down in grade, Brian the Snail in that 210.
Okay, yeah, Kukash Runner. They're always popular, aren't they, at Chester? We go up now to the Knavesmire for York for 2 o'clock, and I thought Civil War was a really obvious one in this. Absolutely bolted up at Newcastle. Unexposed 4-year-old for Brian Ellison went up £10, but I think rightly so. Sarah Bowen as well. She'd be a good jockey in a race of this nature, Lady Riders races. Thought the ground at Newbury the time before was no good. This horse has ran well on softer ground in France in the past, but I just don't think it's the optimum conditions for Civil Law. So really like the current favourite, which is a bit boring, but love Civil Law. Andrew, would you like to start?
Yeah, I'm going to take a chance on Sameem here for Tim Easterby, around about 20-1. This one's wins have all come in small fields, all for James Tate. Joined Tim Easterby a couple of runs ago, well in need of the race first time out. Second time, I thought I'd take a chance on him and put him up as a bet at Ripon because he looked the pace angle in the race. However, he's basically let this shorter price stablemate Fisherable do his own thing in front that day. So I think now he's had a couple of runs, perhaps this was the plan all along, and hopefully he'll go from the front and be able to boss this small field. But at 20-1 or thereabouts, I thought it's worth chancing.
Okay, Sameem then, I think, yeah, currently the outsider of the field anyway. Daryl?
Yeah, Civil Law is actually entered tomorrow on Friday. So, and the money continues to come for him. So I wonder if he's going to run tomorrow and then have a quick turnout and get in
then go again
on Saturday. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. He'll probably go off favourite. This is tricky. I'm really gutted that Nicholas T's running in here. But keep an eye on this horse because he looked like he was ready to go in at Redcar in the Zetland Gold Cup.
Where do you want him to go? Why are you gutted he's in here? Where would you rather
Well, Air is where I want him to go. His favourite course, Air. The problem with him coming in here on all 6 visits, he's been terrible and he's never finished better than 8th. So,
yeah,
the fact that he carries a huge weight is a big negative as well. I think he might run in here. I think he might get dropped another couple of pounds and then he might go to Air at the end of the month or something like that. So keep an eye on Nicholas T. I thought Bar and Fly, this trip was far too short for him. Sameem was slightly interesting to me. I just need to see a little bit more from him before I get overexcited about him coming back to form. Arctic Fox, obviously lots of positives. Back at York, won this race. Was it last year or 2019? 2 for 4 here. Back down to a winning mark. £4 below his last winning mark. There's a lot to like. I just question mark this trip. Arctic Fox looks a little bit tripless to me. Between a mile 2 and a mile 4, I'm just not entirely sure that Arctic Fox is going to be hitting that line very hard. But this has clearly been the target for the trainer. It was a good run. It's a good step back in the right direction at Air last time behind the Progressive Dream with me. So not surprised money's come from that one. But Carlos Felix was the one I wanted to side with. I didn't entirely think that Chester suited the last twice. Was beaten out of sight by Uber Cool last time. But like I said, I don't really think he got that 1 mile 5.5. I don't really think Chester suited the last twice. Been hurdling before that. And then his previous run over this trip was at Wolverhampton behind Here and Now, a 98 rated horse. That level of form in the context of this race is miles clear as far as I'm concerned. And there's no real progressive horses in this field. I think Carlos Felix hasn't been seen to best effect just yet. I think he needs a nice long home straight to get up a good gallop. He takes a little minute to get going, and I think York will definitely suit him really well. Still unexposed to an extent for me, Carlos Felix, and Gina Andrews is no bad booking for a race like this. So Carlos Felix, boring at the top of the market, but yeah.
I was just about to say then, near the end, you've missed off really one important fact in this race, that Gina Andrews is on board. She's a very good jockey, isn't she, in the context of these races. Also, I just wanted to mention, not for you, Per, because I'm sure you will anyway, but as regards viewers, Fly Me to the Stars, interesting horse, not been on the track for about 4 years, used to be with some Mark Prescott, is in the same ownership, so I assume Midland Park have moved this horse, but has obviously had issues, I assume, some kind of bad injuries, maybe a tendon or a pelvis or something, but that'd be interesting to find out what went wrong. But back to the track, so hopefully Massine in Group 3 company as well, Fly Me to the Stars. So hope he'll run his race anyway, back after a long time off. York's 235 is our next contest, Class 2 race over 7 furlongs. I thought Admirality really interesting in this, at least at the prices anyway. Took a couple of runs last year for this horse to kind of really get going, which plenty of them it does. I think conditions are absolutely fine for him. 7 furlongs, quick ground. He's a couple of pound lower, £5 lower now for those 2 runs, and he was placed a good second over the course and distance as well last year, off a slightly higher mark. So Admiralty to outrun the odds would be my pick in there were I to have one. Andrew, do you want to start?
Yeah, tricky one, this one. I didn't like the favourite, Dazzling Dan. He's won once from his last 13 starts, and that was where in a 4-runner field at Yarmouth that was favouring pace even more strongly than usual. Never won round a turn. I'm not sure 7 field in the biggish field is going to be any good for him at this track. Gifted Ruler was one of 2 I liked. Tom Marquand, an unusual booking for Tom Dascombe. He's only had 9 rides for the yard previously. Only one of those was coming back from a layoff of more than 3 months, and that one at Wolverhampton landing a bit of a punt. So Gifted Ruler was already 10s into 5, so he's got to be high on the short list. Bashir was the other one as well. He had a wide trip at Chelmsford last time with only 6, albeit so did the winner. But he was very interesting on that earlier next second on his last turf start to Cruyff Turn. And more importantly, Jim Crowley's back on board, taking over from Dane O'Neill. So Gifted Ruler and Bashir, for me, both have been well supported, though, since the betting opened.
Okay, yeah, both have been supported, as you say. Daryl?
Yeah, strange race this. 0 to 105, but take out Ostilio, who's well out of form and probably wants a bit of soft ground. It's basically a 0 to 90 contest. That's why I thought Dazzling Dan was a little bit interesting at the top of the market, but he's been well found now. He's unexposed to 7 furlongs, never been round a bend. He's definitely the right market leader for me, especially on the back of that Newmarket run last time where he bumped into 2 unexposed horses. None of these are unexposed. You know, he's not going to bump into any sort of horse like that in this field. You're looking for something that's probably going to bounce back to form to beat Dazzling Danny. He's drawn out of 9, and I did quite like Admirality, the same as you, Leonna. His run last year in 2019, when second in this race, he was drawn in stall 12, and then his last run over 7 furlongs behind Documenting, he was drawn in stall 11. He's never had any luck with the draw here. He's got a much better draw now in stall 6. He's lower in the handicap. He's £5 better off for a neck defeat to Queen Sargent at Thirsk. Back here at York, 7 furlongs, good ground. I think, you know, there's a lot in his favour. I'd be pretty keen on Admiralty for this. The one I was gonna back during the week actually was Golden Apollo. He was a massive price. He was 33 to 1. That's all completely gone now. Yeah, it's all completely gone. But he likes it here. He's unexposed over 7 furlongs. He definitely wants this trip nowadays. He was 5th in this in 2019 behind Admirality, but he got absolutely no run. He was staying on quite strongly. Back over the 7 furlongs today, he's had a prep run with no tongue tie, no cheek pieces. They've put the tongue tie back on today, but no cheek pieces, which is strange. And I just didn't like, I know it's harsh to say, but I just didn't like the booking of Element Kane taking £5 off. I thought if you've got a horse in good form, and he's already on a winning mark, why are you not putting a fully fledged, why is David Allen on Manigordo rather than Golden Apollo would be the question I'd ask. So that slightly put me off and stopped me from backing him. So Admiralty, long story short for me.
Yeah, the other kind of negative I thought with Andrew saying about Dazzling Dan is, of course, Ray Dawson's ridden on the last couple of occasions, so has taken £3 off. So was third last time with £3 jockey taking a good 3 off. And now Shane Kelly rides, so it's £3 worse off than last time. So.
Yeah, but Shane Kelly's got a really good record for the yard.
Well, and I'm not saying that Shane Kelly isn't £3 better than Ray Dawson. Maybe he is.
Come on, guys, keep it civil. Take it outside.
Yeah.
I just thought the thing with Dazzling Dan is that it's the trip. Now, whether I'm not entirely convinced he's a strong stayer at 7 furlongs. So that would be a slight concern because it does take some getting down this York Straight. That would just be a slight concern. But this is a big drop in grade for him, and he is unexposed at the trip. So there could be a little bit more improvement to come from him. You know, I think he's the right market leader. Anyway.
And all that's great, but it's not your selection.
No, it's not. It's Admirality.
So Admirality for me, Andrew. We do agree on something. And Andrew, Bashir, and Gifted Ruler, the 2 against the field, yeah?
No, that's right.
Okay. Moving on. The 305 is the feature race at York, long distance listed contest. Again, I keep saying this every single race, but another really hard race. Obviously, a few runners, but I don't think any that could be ruled out in this, so it makes it very hard. Would you like to start as Daryl? I won't argue with what you say. I promise.
Yeah, I like the outside of Red Verdon for this. Frankie Dettori on board. I think this is the right trip for the horse. He's got some fantastic form figures over 1 mile 6, including the course and distance win. I think he's got the strongest form in the race. I can't really believe he's been overlooked as the outsider of the field. He's gone well at York numerous times. It's probably his one blip was in the E-ball when 14th to 22, but he got absolutely no run that day. Go back a couple of years, he was only beaten 8 lengths by Stradivarius in the Lonsdale Cup. This is definitely his trip. He's relatively unexposed over 1 mile 6, which is crazy to say for an 8-year-old. But I just thought this race I thought was excellent placing by Ed Dunlop, because I think Raunch Hand, although he's a decent horse, I just think that he might lack the pace of Red Verdon. Red Verdon's been able to run over 1.25 miles, even a mile. You know, he's not a slow horse, whereas Raunch Hand is sort of your 2 mile 2, those 2 mile 4 handicap races. Roberto Escobar, I couldn't have him at all. I don't think he stays this trip. I don't think he wants this. I think he wants to go well back down in trip. And Makawee, for me, is so in and out. You never really know what you're going to expect. And is backing against the boys, and I think she'll find it tough. So, yeah, I thought Red Verdon. The pace of the race is the one thing that was playing on my mind. I'm hoping Frankie Dettori is going to use his initiative and go forward.
Go forward.
Yeah, I am.
Keep going.
I am, yeah, just keep going. And he can dictate the fractions. He'll have the faster turn of foot if he goes slow. I think he'll outstay the likes of Milwaukee and Roberto Escobar, perhaps not Raunch Hand if he goes a bit quicker. I thought if Frankie Dettori can have this race in his hands and not give up at the end, I thought Red Verdon could win. He's driving me mad.
He won't give up if he's in front. It's just once one passes in, he's like, oh.
Yeah, he drives me mad. He drives me mad.
A bit, doesn't he? You're back for a place, or you've got a combination bet and you just need him to be in the frame. He's really not the person to have on board, is he?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Red Verdon should win this, though. I reckon 5-1's an absolute steal.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, another real tricky one despite the small field. 3 course winners and Ranch Hand, who was 6th in the E-ball last year, so they all seem to handle the track well enough. The slight concern with Ranch Hand is that he's only ever won in the spring and the autumn. So in the height of summer, he does struggle to get his head in front. So, like many geldings, he's probably best in the spring and autumn. So perhaps give him the stripe. The 2 I like were Red Verdon, who goes well in small fields, and Makawee, who's got plenty of course form. And Jim Crowley's an interesting booking for that one because he does so well in small field tactical affairs. So, I'd stick both in the place pot and do a reverse forecast, but I didn't have a particularly strong opinion.
Okay, that's good enough. I would say good luck with this 340, guys, but my nap's in here. I'm not sure why. I love Fighter Pilot. I said earlier about the horse I saw at Newcastle, Glen again. This is another one. So I was at Newcastle when Fighter Pilot made the debut. Really nice, big horse. Danny Tudhope had ridden a winner earlier on in the card. I asked him about this horse before he actually ran. He said, we really like him. Lovely big horse. Should have plenty more to come. He has won a race. I don't know if he's just taking his time again to come to hand, being so big or whatever, but he's not the selection. They're betting this race going to be first Folio, who I thought was really impressive in that Class 4 race at Yarmouth. One with plenty in hand, another one that was hit with a big rise, £10, but I don't think it was harsh. I think it was probably deserved. Ran well last time at Newmarket, was an idiot in the stalls, really slowly away, had to then make up that ground, was always kind of chasing the tail of the others, and had to switch as well to where the race was developing from the low draw. So I thought ran well despite all of that and kept on well out of that dip, and hopefully should run another big race here. So that's going to be my nap as well, first Folio. I fancy that one in the 340, but it is another absolutely rock solid race. Darryl, you want to start?
God, I love this race. I do. I love this race. I've got this between Skyrunner and Dark Shift. I think both of these are going to end up 100 horses.
Yeah.
But I think Skyrunner's going to get there first. This horse has just been so impressive. Pontefract 5 furlongs last time, massively odds on. Didn't have to beat a lot, but it was soft ground, 5 furlongs. I don't think that suits him at all. The time before at Doncaster over 7. Now he only won by 3/4 of a length, but if you watched what he did, the way he finished, he was still learning his job. He still didn't really know what he was doing, but the just raw power as he hit that line, I was just so impressed. I thought 6 furlongs and quick ground would definitely suit this horse. This horse is 100% better than a mark of 89. And again, this is one of them weeks where I'm sort of looking at this horse and I'm trusting my gut a lot on what I've seen previously. And this Skyrunner is definitely better than a mark of 89. That is for absolute sure. Dark Shift was the other one that I was quite interested in until I went back and I looked through and compared his races with other races on the card. His return run came on soft ground. It probably wouldn't have been ideal for Dark Shift, but he was 4 lengths slower than the listed race on the card, won by Lloyd Refrain. He was rated 93 at the time. It's now rated 103. That horse obviously chased home Rohan next time, beating 11th. Previous to that, again on soft ground, he was punted off the boards, but he was beaten by Apollo 1, who's rated 101. Now, all looks good, if you put the figures next to each other. He's running off 88, 101. But they were 11 lengths slower than the 67 rated horse on the field, and Apollo 1 won that from the rear of the field. So that put a little bit of question mark over Dark Shift for me. And then I went back a little bit further, and he once had a Derby entry. And before I started the process of delving into his form, I thought he looked an out-and-out sprinter. So something's telling me that they don't think he's a sprinter. They think that, he's going to get further in time and further in time. And then looking at the bare facts of his times against other races, just the visuals just might not be explaining what's been going on when he's been winning so easily. He was very impressive on his debut as well. The good ground's going to definitely suit Dark Shift. He will be better than a mark of 88 in time. Whether it's right now, I'm not sure. But Skyrunner is definitely going to be 100 horse. Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Not worried about horses that have only had 3 starts being dropped into a huge field handicap?
Could not care less.
Perfect. Okay, that's good to know. So Skyrunner is the bet, yeah? But
definitely.
Dark Shift. Okay, Andrew?
Yeah, this has been a tricky race to find the winner of in recent years. We've had 4 winners at 20 to 1 or bigger in the last 10 runnings, and Tim Easterby's got a really good record. He's had 12 runs in this race in the last 10 seasons, 3 winners, 2 places. One of those places a 20 to 1 second. So I was drawn to his 2 runners. One of those is the quite obvious one, Show Along. He was a comfortable winner last time out at Chester after running well at Thirsk from a poor draw on his return. Chuck out his 2 seasonal debuts. He's won 3 of his 4 starts. He got a huge speed figure according to Raceform for that Chester win. So I thought he had a good chance, and it's generally paid to be drawn low to middle in this race as well in previous years. So he looks well berthed in stall 7. But I thought I'd go with the bigger price stablemates. Barney's Bay ran about 20 to 1. Now, he disappointed last time out, but that was his 4th start in about 6 weeks, and it was probably just one too many. He's had 4 weeks off since. He won his 2 starts before that, and I'll probably back the pair of them. But Barney's Bay at sort of 20, 25 to 1 may be just the call, given the history of shock results in this race.
Yeah, Barney's Bay was behind mine first Folio last time, and as you say, I think the trainer literally reported on the race results that the horse did run flat, so hopefully been freshened up. So Barney's Bay and Show Along, the 2 that Andrew likes. They're both the Tim Easterby runners anyway, if you want to follow Andrew in, but don't just follow me in with my nap and you'll be fine. Anything else that either of you like at York?
In the 4:15, Bring It On Boris for Keith Dalgleish. This was a horse who only finished 4th of 7 at Ayr the other day, but he needs a big field and a strong pace. He's had 3 runs on turf. When he's had a field of 12 or more runners, he's won one of those and placed a big prices in the others. So he was, his last 2 runs of just small field tactical affairs, no help to him. He tends to race keenly with plenty of runners this time round. He'll go well at an each way price. And our old friend Mr. Wagyu for the Quinyard, who runs in the 5:25. He peaks at this time of year. You can set your clock by him. If you only back him in June or July, he's won 10 of his 19 starts. When he's returned to the track within a week in that time frame, he's won 4 from 4. I put him up as a bet at Pontefract the other day and again at Hamilton last week. He's won both. So bidding for a hat-trick here. everything's right for him. So yeah, Mr. Wagyu, the 525 is probably the bet of the week for me.
Okay. Bet of the week then is in that last race at York, so it's the 525, did you say, yeah? And then the 450 is Bring It On Boris. So Bring It On Boris and Mr. Wagyu, 2 other bets. Any other York for you, Daryl?
No, Skyrunner will pay for the rest of the week.
Yeah, right. Anyway, on to Sandown we go. We've got the 215 there. I like Marco Botti's horse in here, Atalis Bay. I think it should be the best horse in here. Latest form when he was a good second to Winter Power at York. I think that's a really good piece of form. The price tells us that much, doesn't it? Obviously improved from last year. Do we like Atalis Bay, Daryl?
Yeah, I think this horse is really, really nice. Really, really nice horse. I'm going to take him on though. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'll tell you why. Because I can't.
There's 9 runners.
Yeah, I can't let this Mishal Star go. I can't let this Mishal Star go. I really can't. I think this is a talented horse. This is Sykes slowed a little bit now, rather than trying to take on the mighty Creative Force last time at Newbury, but didn't think she was disgraced there, beating 5 lengths. Time before at Chelmsford, should have won on seasonal reappearance, being Happy Romance. I think that sort of form line doesn't give her too much to find. I think with the weight allowance she gets from Atalis Bay, I think she's got about £8 of improvement to find on the figures. But I think she's better than a mark of 90. I think the drop back to 5 furlongs is definitely going to suit, and I think the return to a quicker surface is going to suit as well. I think the only poor run she's thrown in is the heavy ground Newmarket run behind Ventura Diamond at the back end of last term. For me, she had no chance at Newbury, so you can write that run off. And like I say, should have won at Chelmsford. So still completely unexposed, 3-year-old, drawn in stall 2, could get on the rail as well, which will help. I think she'll travel lovely, and I think she's got a lovely turn of foot. So a double figure prize, 10-1. I think I'll just take a chance on Mishal Star.
Yeah, and I think I read somewhere that the Tom Ward yard, I think they've gone a little bit quiet, haven't they? And then they picked up again now. They had a couple of winners. They had a winner at Wolverhampton when I was there the other day, and they had a winner the day or two before that, Windsor. So good that yard's coming back into form for Mishal Star. Atalis Bay, though, is the current favourite. Andrew, what do you like in this 215, please?
I'll take on the Jolly. Possibility is that he's best on flat tracks and Sandown's not going to suit. Draw-wise, it's really tricky. It used to be a licence to print money, just backing every horse in stalls 1 and 2 in the 5 furlong races here, do the reverse forecast, and you'd make fortunes over the years. That all stopped a few years ago, and there's been a number of times when it's sort of better to be drawn middle, the sort of stalls 4, 5 and 6 off that rail. However, this season, the waters are even more murky. We've had winners on the rail. We've had winners coming wide. I mean, First Edition will lead here from stall 1, Clive Cox, Adam Kirby. He's by Invincible Spirit, whose progeny do really well in the first time tongue tie. That particular headgear goes on, but I just can't help thinking that it'll burn himself out and it'll be something that can just sit just behind the pace, switch off the fence late on. That'll probably come through and win it. Nelson Gay, possibly, who's had excuses for a couple of defeats since being in good form. And Wicklow Brave, who impressed me at Goodwood last time, he's by Twilight Sun, whose 3-year-old progeny are doing really well in sprints. And although Mick Appleby's horses often don't back up a win, I thought I'd go Warrior Brave. But really, I just wanted to take on the favourite in the hope that the stiff track doesn't suit him.
Are you eating your lunch? Because we seem to have lost your picture. I can hear you perfectly well, but I can't see you.
All right. No, I'm still here.
I can see him. He looks beautiful.
You, I can't see you. Oh, perfect. I was getting worried then that you'd just had enough of us.
I'll send you a signed photo for next week, Leonna, in case it happens again.
Make sure you do. You've said it now, so you better, and I'll post it online so people can see. The other scheduled race then is the 250 at Sandown. I tipped up this King's Knight the last time when he was 4th. They ran well enough, I suppose. I wasn't overly chuffed with the ride Jim Crowley gave him, but never mind. We've moved on from that now. Do you want to start us, Daryl, for this 250?
Yeah, again, like we said all day, another really tricky race. King's Knight is a very nice horse and definitely warrants being towards the top of the market. I was going to take a chance on Dogged. I thought he was well handicapped on a mark of 81.
Awful name.
Yeah, I know. It is a terrible name, isn't it?
That you would say absolutely
dogged. Surely you'd say dogged.
Dogged. But yeah, well, either. But I mean,
But
just
he did live
reminds
up
me
to
of
his
if you
name
said
last
a
time.
horse dogged it or dogged. Yeah, that's horrible. Anyway.
We got to stop. We got to stop talking about dogging. Right. Newmarket last time.
ED, not dogging. We don't talk about that on this podcast.
I thought he was just taking a blow mid-race at Newmarket last time behind turntable and stayed on really strongly at the finish. That was the first run after a gelding operation and a long time away from the track, 307 days. On the form of his 3-year-old season, I thought a mark of 81 was definitely well within reach. And coming back to Sandown, where he chased on Miss Yoda in a novice race, the bare form of that looks extremely strong. Miss Yoda is rated 107. Global Storm back in third is a 100 horse, 98 rated. Campari, Surrey Pride's in there. It's a really good race, and I thought coming back here would definitely suit Dogged. Are we just going to say Dogged?
I think it is probably dogged, but dogged.
Yeah, definitely dogged,
I don't
Daryl.
know.
Dogged.
Just for information for listeners, Daryl's other YouTube channel, Dogging with Daryl, starts a new series on Friday nights from 9 o'clock after the watershed.
He's still pissed, he is.
I'm not on it. I'm not on the dogging show. Sorry, guys.
You're the host. But that's. I'm just going to.
I'm a hostess, not a host.
Hostess. Oh, sorry, hostess. That's it. I'm just going to wrap it up there. Dogged.
Andrew, please don't talk about that one.
Dogged was on my short list. I thought he had excuses for that defeat last time out. King's Knight was quite interesting as well, having finished fourth to Boardman last time. That was at Chester when he came from off the pace, and he wasn't as well drawn as the three who beat him. Obviously, the runner-up Edge Talab has come out and won at Epsom since then. So I'll go King's Knight over Dogged.
Yeah, I hope that King's Knight will win, but I was a bit annoyed with Jim Crowley last time, so I'm glad that he's not on board. Anything else at Sandown for either of you, please?
In the 105, where we should hopefully finally get to see Zoffarelli make his seasonal return. He's been entered up left, right and centre this season so far without actually making the track. He ran a really good race in a Newmarket nursery on his final start last year. There was the Golden Highway was in full operation on the Rolling Mile that day. The winner, Wob, made all the running from the highest draw against the stands rail. He performed miracles to finish second by a neck coming from off the pace down the middle of the track. I don't think he's ever been out of the first two. He's been gelded since his last run. So, Zoffarelli in that opener. And the 135 May Remain was half interesting. George Baker is in really good form, 4 wins from 10 runners at the time of recording in the last fortnight. He's vised for the first time. Adam Kirby rides. He does really well for the yard. He's had 2 runs over course and distance, a win and a mid-division effort from a poor draw. And sort of coming back to this track in the headgear may remain in the 135. But Zoffarelli, probably the most interesting runner on the Sandown card for me in the first.
Okay. Yeah, and that race that may remain in 135 has got Kindergarten Coffin, who I saw in the Racing Post the other day, is for sale. So if you wanted to buy yourself a horse that's won its last 3, Kindergarten Cop runs at Sandown. I don't work for them. I'm not advertising. I was just saying my general thoughts. Anything else for you, Daryl, at Sandown?
Nice horse, that Kindergarten Cop. I think they've been running over too far.
I saw it in the Racing Post before.
No, nothing for me. My horse over at York should pay for the day. So,
anything anywhere else on any other race cards?
Unfortunately, not. It's one of those weeks this week. I've just found it quite quiet on a Saturday because we've got Royal Ascot next week. So, it's just if it's not there, I can't give it to you, unfortunately.
Andrew, anything for you elsewhere?
No, nothing for me. I had a good look at the Leicester card, but like Daryl said, it's the calm before the Royal Ascot storm. So maybe keep the powder dry for next week.
Very good, and just back the naps, and then you'll be fine. Naps then, please.
Mr. Wagyu for me in the York race, 5:25, I think.
Daryl?
Skyrunner, 3:40, York.
Why are you napping against me?
Bolts up.
No, it doesn't.
You must not have seen this horse. You must not have watched the races.
When it absolutely shits itself in a big field around with horses everywhere, I'll just be sat there thinking, I did try and tell you, you wouldn't listen. So first Folio in the 340 at York is my nap.
You two have got potty mouth this week. I think I want 100 lines from both of you next week. I must not swear on TV.
I've only said one once. It wasn't every else a swear word. Anyway, look, I'm sorry, guys.
Who says potty mouth?
This is what I'm working
just then.
with. Right, you pair, compose yourself. Anyway, apologies for all the dogging chat. I just can't control them. I'm doing my best. Thanks for watching, viewers new and old.
He's corpsing that.
I know, he's lost the plot now. We appreciate you watching anyway. All of the race cards, extra tips and videos are on GG.CO.UK. We'll see you next week when hopefully Daryl has